Hey guys, it's Callie. Welcome back to another video. If you guys are new here, my name is Callie and I'm a recently graduated new grad registered nurse. I make videos related to my nursing journey and I recently posted a kind of poll asking for questions related to nursing school so that I could make this nursing school Q&A for you guys, and so many of you left me so many comments and I'm going to try to answer as many of them as possible and fit them all into this video, and if I can't then I'll make a part 2. But anyway, let's jump into the video. I actually wrote down all of your questions here in my notes app. You guys left me so many. But the first one I'm going to start off with is, what was the one thing that got you through nursing school and why? So I think a lot of you guys already know what I'm going to say, but it's Quizlet. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know Quizlet was my thing in nursing school. Like, it was my holy grail. It's what got me through nursing school. I don't even know how I would have fared if I didn't have Quizlet. And if you guys don't know what Quizlet is, it's basically online flashcards. So essentially, instead of writing out all your flashcards by hand on actual physical flashcards, it's just typing them out online, and then you have your flashcards on your laptop and on your phone on the Quizlet app. I would recommend Quizlet to anyone starting nursing school if you learn through active recall, because it just saves so much time instead of having to write out the flashcards to just type them. And then it's so convenient because, like, whether you're out and about, like waiting for dinner, or you're in the car, like someone else is driving obviously, but you're in the car, or you're just laying in bed, like you can literally just go on your phone and study your flashcards. Like, it's so easy. I've also never been sponsored by Quizlet, by the way, and I have talked about them so much in so many videos, so you guys are probably sick of me talking about this and probably sick of hearing about it. But anyway, I just pulled up one of my flashcard sets. I think this one is Safety and Infection Control, Lines, Tubes, and Drains. I think this is when I was studying for the NCLEX, but you just tap flashcards and then you've got your flashcards here, and then you can put them in the bad pile or the good pile, like if you know it or if you need to study it again. And then you can also make classes and organize all your flashcards into classes. It really just is awesome. And then they also have like test mode and match mode, like little games you can play too that help with studying. But other than Quizlet, the other thing that got me through nursing school that I was kind of debating, should I say this instead of Quizlet, is my planner. I don't know how people make it through nursing school without using a planner, or school in general. I guess I'm just more type A when it comes to that stuff, but I have to have everything due for the week written down, and I have to be able to like cross it off when I'm done with it. Okay, I actually just grabbed my old planner from my last semester of nursing school to show you guys, but this is how I would plan out all of my weeks. This was week 6 of my last semester of nursing school, and I would always color code all the classes, and then from there I would color code like all of the assignments that I had for those classes. I would try to do this every single week, especially in the beginning of nursing school. I had so many assignments in the beginning of nursing school, like it's crazy looking at my old planner from the first year of nursing school, because I feel like throughout the program we had less assignments, and I mean it was still really busy, but it was more focused on like preceptorship and clinicals and less on like kind of busy work assignments. But the first semester of nursing school we just had so much going on. So if you're starting nursing school soon, I definitely recommend a planner, because I don't know how I would have gotten through nursing school without it. And then this one is just a basic Erin Condren one. I forget what it's called, but I linked it in another video. I think I got it from Target though. But all throughout my pre-nursing years when I was taking my prerequisites for nursing school, and then my first year of nursing school, I used the Erin Condren Life Planner, and I highly, highly recommend it. It was a great planner. I just got sick of using it and I wanted something different, which is why I got this one. But okay, question number 2 is a really good one. How did you overcome burnout? Currently in my 5th semester. These days I'm crying on my way to school and dread sitting down to focus and study. How did you find motivation and keep your mental state stable and going? So first of all, I totally get it. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about, but there was a time during my last semester of nursing school when I just was having like mental breakdown after mental breakdown. There was a point when I was literally at clinical during preceptorship, and I went in the bathroom and I just started crying in the bathroom because there was a whole thing about like a quiz that I got an F on. There was like a whole thing about like me missing the quiz corrections because I missed the due date for those, and just remember I was crying on my way to clinicals some mornings because I was running late and just traffic was really bad and I was late to class some days that semester. It was a big mess. I was so overwhelmed. I was so burnt out. I didn't even know like how I was going to make it through the rest of the semester. So I totally get it. But I will say the things that helped me the most with getting through it were remembering why I chose this field, why I went into nursing. That really helps a lot if you can put your mind or your mental state back in the state that it was going into nursing school, and like how excited you were doing your prerequisites and applying. Like I feel like there's a lot of excitement and motivation in the beginning of it, and that's when you really like see the light of it all and the good parts of it. I feel like trying to put yourself back in that perspective, I guess is a good way to say it, helps a lot. But I would also say something that just helps so much is watching other people, whether it's me or just anyone on YouTube or TikTok. If you're feeling like you have a lack of motivation, it might sound stupid, but literally just looking at other videos of people and watching people who are also in nursing school and watching them study, or watching just like days in the life or week in the life videos helps so much. I just feel like that would always get me so motivated and re-inspired when I was feeling like I was lacking that. And then discipline, because at the end of the day, you're not always gonna have motivation. The motivation is not always gonna be there. That's just how it is. Nursing school is for such a long period of time and so many days, and a lot of those days you will be motivated and you will be inspired, but there will be days when you just don't have motivation or you just don't have the inspiration for that day to get through it. And that's when it comes down to discipline and just remembering how far you've already made it and just telling yourself, let's just get through this day. One day at a time is a saying me and my friends always said throughout nursing school that really helped us get through it. And it's very true. It's really easy to just feel so overwhelmed by all the different stuff that you have to do and all of the clinicals coming up and the end of the semester projects. And I would always get so overwhelmed at the beginning of the semester when we were going over the syllabus and everything, like just seeing all the stuff we have to tackle to get to the end, especially with cumulative final exams too. And just, it's a lot, but just telling yourself one day at a time really helps. Also self-care too. Sometimes it can be really easy to neglect self-care when you're in nursing school, but just making it a priority to make sure that you're getting some extra sleep if you're feeling burnt out, or maybe taking some time to yourself just to go and get your nails done or go to the gym or go hang out with your friends, whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, if you're not putting yourself first and you're neglecting self-care, then the burnout will get to you. It might sound dumb, like nursing school needs to come first, like I don't have time to go hang out with friends, or I don't have time to go to the gym, but the truth is it's worth it if it gets you back into the headspace that you need to be, if that makes sense. Because you're not going to get through nursing school if you just get burnt out and you quit. You know what I mean? So if you get to that point where you really think, okay, I need to take a break and I need to take like a personal day to just, when you have the time, to just focus on myself and go to the gym, then definitely do that. That's another reason too, I think a planner is so great, is because if you're really feeling burnt out and like you can't manage the way that you're currently studying, you can try and plan out in your planner like, okay, I'm going to study for 4 hours this morning, and then we're going to take a break at 12 o'clock and go to the gym and then get back to studying, or whatever way you want to do it. Or maybe Monday and Tuesday I'm going to study for X amount of hours, but Wednesday is going to be a me day, and then Thursday and Friday I'll get back to studying for my exam that I have next Monday, whatever it is. I really recommend that as well. Okay, I got a lot of questions about pharmacology studying. 3 of you guys asked me what my best studying tips are for pharmacology. And then one of you guys also asked me about patho as well. And I have the same answer for both of these pretty much. For pathophysiology, the only way that you can study, because there's a lot of different classes where you can use different studying methods. Some people use flashcards, some people just write down their notes, some people make charts. But for pharmacology, this is the one area where I feel like you can really only study for it using active recall, which is basically just flashcards, because there is so much memorization. It is literally all just memorizing drug classes, their side effects, adverse reactions, and contraindications, and their therapeutic indication, like the reason for the drug. So it's really just all memorization, unfortunately. So if you aren't the best with flashcards and you don't really like that method, I don't have a great tip for that. I would say watching videos might help if you're more of a visual learner on the different drug classes and their side effects and everything. But my number one piece of advice is flashcards for that class, for pharmacology. For pathophysiology, I would also say flashcards too, because that's how I studied for it. But I also studied for it using Venn diagrams, especially for the endocrine stuff. Venn diagrams will help you so much. Okay, I just found my old notebook that I used in nursing school with all of my old Venn diagrams to show you guys. So this is the one that I made in patho for hypovolemia and hypervolemia, and then this is the one that I did for hypo and hypernatremia. And so as you can see, I would write out all of the stuff that they shared in the middle, because there's a lot of that, and then everything that's specific to them on the outside. And I would try to brain dump this, if that makes sense. If I remember correctly, I would write out the causes and then the manifestations, because it's like all manifestations in pathophysiology. I would try to brain dump and remember from the top of my head the different ones. And then yeah, that's pretty much what I did for the Venn diagrams. And I feel like that really helped me a lot for that. And then this is my potassium one, so you have hyper and hypokalemia, and then in the middle all the manifestations that they share, so muscle weakness, EKG changes, cardiac arrest, because the one thing you got to remember about potassium is the heart. It affects the heart. Always remember that. But yeah, so definitely recommend that. And then I'm always gonna say Quizlet. I feel like some people might not like Quizlet, but it's just what helped me so much, and I can really only vouch for the stuff that helped me personally. But I do know one of my friends, she would make charts. I think she would do it like on Word or Excel or something, but she would make like spreadsheets, if that makes sense. And she made really good charts. I wish I had an example to show you guys, but that really helped her. If you're more of like a visual person, like a visual learner, and then videos are really helpful too. There's Simple Nursing and Registered Nurse RN, or Registered Nurse Sarah. Those are two really good resources. Okay, what was your favorite nursing class and your least favorite? I feel like a lot of people know the answer to this for my favorite, but it's my Women, Children, and Families class. I loved that class so much, especially my teacher. I feel like teachers also really make or break a class, but she just loved what she was talking about, and she was such an amazing teacher. I actually had her for pathophysiology as well. But yeah, that class was just the class I was waiting for. I've always been interested in the mother-baby field of nursing. When I initially started my nursing journey, I wanted to be a NICU nurse. That's what got me into nursing, working with babies. And then I started to think more about like the obstetric field, like working labor and delivery, and just that class was just amazing, and I was actually just so interested in what we were learning. And then the clinicals, I got to spend 2 days in the NICU, and they were the best clinicals I've ever had. And I spent a day on labor and delivery, and then 2 days in the mother baby unit, and just it was like a completely different side of nursing. I can't even explain it to you. Like after going through all the med-surg clinicals for an entire year for complex health 1 and PCC, patient-centered care, finally being in a different side of nursing in the hospital than just med-surg, it was so eye-opening, so different, and I just loved it so much, being with the little babies, and I really want to get there one day. But yeah, that was my favorite. And then my least fave, PCC, patient-centered care. That's basically what our fundamentals class was. We had a good teacher. It had nothing to do with the teacher. She was great. It was just the content, and I just wasn't great at that class. It was a lot of therapeutic communication, and that was like one of my weakest points when it came to exams. The therapeutic communication, for a while, until you like get the hang of it and you get a feel for what they're looking for, like never ask why questions. That's a big one. There are like different things that you'll learn over time, like when you see a therapeutic communication question, like you'll know what they're looking for. That took me a while to really get the hang of. Okay, my camera died, so I had to charge it, but we're back now. Next question is, will you consider getting your master's one day, and becoming a nurse practitioner in the future? Yes. It's been up in the air for a while. I've never fully known if I plan to go back or not, but I do see myself going back in the future to be a nurse practitioner. I'm not exactly sure when, but I do plan to go back and eventually become a nurse practitioner. Yes. But right now, I want to focus on just getting experience as a registered nurse before jumping into that. I'm not saying it's not doable. I know people who have actually already started nurse practitioner school who were in my classes. So it's definitely doable, and if you want to do that, go for it. But me personally, I don't really have the money for that right now, and I just kind of want to enjoy being done with school for a little bit before jumping right back into school. So yeah, everyone has different paths, of course, but that's just what I want to do personally. But maybe after about a couple years, I could see myself going back, but I don't really know. It could be sooner, it could be longer, it could be never. I mean, I might decide I don't want to do that, but right now I am planning to eventually go back, yes. Okay, this question's a good one. Are you happy with the nursing program you were in? Short answer, yes. Overall, yes. I would always recommend that program to anyone who is interested in it. It was a great program. They set me up really well for passing the NCLEX. That's something that I really liked about it. They were very heavy on ATI content. Was it hard? Definitely. You had to get a 74% or higher overall exam average in every class in order to pass. And then the final semester, we had to do 144 hours of preceptorship in the hospital, and that's not including the other clinicals we had for public health that same semester. But the one part of the program that I really was not happy with was preceptorship and how it was conducted. I don't think that this is fully at the fault of the school, but we had so many nursing students in our cohort that it was very hard for our school to find preceptorship placements, and I think that they did try their best in doing so, but the way that it was conducted, I wasn't super happy about it, because basically we were told that the score that we get on our comprehensive predictor exam determines our preceptorship placement, and my score wasn't the best that it could have been, but it really was not bad either. It was a pretty good score, and basically for just how much I studied for it and how well I did, I really felt that I should not have gotten the placement that I did, and my placement was not the placement I wound up at for preceptorship. My initial placement is what I'm talking about before I emailed and I had my preceptorship placement switched. My initial placement was probably the worst placement, in my opinion, that I could have gotten based on where I'd been placed in the past. It was the same hospital I'd been at the entire first year of nursing school, and it was med-surg. And for how well I scored, I felt that I really did not deserve that placement. I did get my preceptorship switched to a very nice hospital closer to me. It was a great hospital. I liked my experience there, but it was a step-down unit, so basically still med-surg, and it was night shift. And from what I was told, at least half of our cohort had night shift placements. And being on night shift for preceptorship while still having clinicals in the morning and classes in the morning during the day was very hard. It was a big adjustment, and I really wanted preceptorship in an area that would set me up for getting a job in a specialty unit such as the NICU or the mother-baby unit or labor and delivery, something to do with the mother-baby aspect of nursing. And so basically where I got placed, I was pretty upset with it, because the people who did get placements in those areas had a much easier time getting a job in those areas. And I'm not trying to be negative. I still loved the program I was in. I would still always recommend it to anyone. I'm not being negative about the program. That was just the only part of the program I wasn't super happy with, because I know that there were other programs. I talked with other people from other programs, and they had an easier time getting placed into specialty units because they had smaller cohorts. So I guess that's just something that if you're going into nursing school or you're planning to go to nursing school, that's something to consider and take into account when you're talking with programs, because if preceptorship placement is something that you are really big on and you really care about where you get placed, because for my school it was 12-hour shifts, it was a lot, then I would ask the programs you're looking into about that and see what they say about it. Okay, there's two questions that I got that are very similar, so I'm going to answer them together. One of you guys said, is there anything you wish you would have done differently throughout the entire process that you would have done if you did it all over again, such as study habits, school life balance, etc.? And then someone else said, knowing what you know about school and landing your first RN job, is there anything you would have done differently? Yes, sort of. I wouldn't necessarily say that what I'm about to say is something that I would do if I did it all over again, just because I still graduated, and I don't know, if I had done this, maybe for some reason I wouldn't have graduated, and I try not to live with regret. But I will say the number one piece of advice that I would give anyone going into nursing school to set them up for success with getting a nursing job, especially if you want to be in a specialty, is to get a tech job in that specialty. I tried to get a tech job in the NICU 3 times at a specific hospital, 3 different times, got rejected every time, and then I tried for their mother-baby unit because they had a tech job opening for that, and I also got rejected from that. So it's not to say I didn't try, but if I had gotten those jobs, it definitely would have helped a lot, I think. If you guys don't know, I have a video in the past where I talked about this a lot, but I actually interviewed for a NICU nurse residency position that was very competitive. They were only hiring, I believe, like 9 people or something, and I think like 80 people applied. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I know a lot of people applied and it was very hard to get the spot. And basically, I found out later that the reason I most likely didn't get it is because I just was lacking specific experience in that specialty that they were looking for. And a lot of the people that they did take had prior experience in the NICU, or they worked there as a tech, things like that. And that's what really set them apart. I'm not saying to get into a specialty area, you have to have been a tech in that area. I know there are people who get positions in those specialty areas, such as the NICU, without having been a tech in those areas. It's definitely doable. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it will help you so much if you can. And I wish sometimes that I had done that, but I still made it through nursing school. I still graduated. I passed the NCLEX. I don't know if necessarily I would actually change that if I went back in time, because at the time I had so much on my plate already that in my final semester, when I thought about applying for a tech job again, I didn't, just because I had so much stuff going on with preceptorship and public health clinicals and just everything going on that semester. I really didn't have the time for it, and I might not have passed my exams if I threw something else onto my plate. So I also would say only do it if you feel like you can handle it. But during a semester, when you see your schedule and you think, I might have a little more downtime this semester, like for example, our summer semester, we had some more downtime because we had less classes that semester. I would say that would be a good time to think about applying for a tech job if you're thinking about it. And I really just recommend that to anyone who really wants to go into a specialty field, because I know it helps so much going into your interviews. And even when they're just looking at your resume, if they see that you have that experience already in that unit or specialty, I know it can really help a lot. Okay, jump scare warning. I'm sorry, but I had to come on here really quick because I have an entire extra 10-minute clip that I recorded for you guys answering 2 more questions and ending the vlog, and it will not download. No matter what I do, I've been trying for hours, so many different ways, it will not download to my laptop, to my phone. I think it's just because it's too long and I forgot to break up the clips, but it just will not download. So I'm gonna end the video here, and I will be making a part 2 if you guys still want it. Just let me know down below if you guys are still interested in seeing a part 2. I would be more than happy to make it, because I answered 2 more questions, but I also didn't even get to finish all the questions because I wanted to make sure that this video wouldn't be too long, and I felt like it was getting a little bit long. So just let me know down below if you guys would like to see that. But I really quickly just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am so grateful to all of you guys who left me all of those comments and those questions on my post so that I could make this video, because I always wanted to do a Q&A video. So I was super happy to finally make this for you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I answered most of your questions. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.